Hey, how you doing? Hello. Hello, friends. Good day. How are you doing? I hope all is well. Welcome to today's discussion. I'm about 5 minutes late. No, more than that, actually, about 15 minutes late. I was getting some stuff set up. I'm on Periscope and I'm also on YouTube Live. I have a YouTube channel, Asa Talks. And so, past presentation, the reason I have a YouTube channel is that you can also easily, if you cannot find me on Facebook, the past videos or past presentations, what my intention is to do is to get a video library on YouTube so that you can always go back and review the things that we discussed. All right. So that's the reason why. All right. So I'm on Periscope and I'm also on YouTube as well. So welcome to today's discussion. It's Tuesday, it's 12:30, and thank you so much for joining. It's always a pleasure to have you join me. Now, I've been talking about like attitude, how it affects your attitude. I've also been talking about honor and characteristics that affected my life. I'm going to continue discussing those matters in the upcoming weeks, but I want to talk about something that is very, very close to my heart and has really affected me in a wonderful way. All right. And I want to talk to you about mental health. If you look at the topic today, it's we're all a little bit broken. And I got that topic from a song a young lady called Fergie sung that song. You can always find that in Google or YouTube. We are all a little bit broken. And in August 11, 2014, about 4 years ago, um, Robin Williams took his life. Robin Williams, as you know, was a very successful actor. He starred in many movies. He was also a very successful comedian. He did very, very well. He brought laughter, happiness, and joy to everyone, to a lot of people. And he was very successful. He was he was successful. He was doing well. But on August 11th, he killed himself. It brought shock waves to the entire world because and people were totally shocked. They were in disbelief because they were wondering how could somebody that brings so much happiness to people, so much joy to people, was successful on so many different levels, what would have motivated him to take his life? And that was quite shocking. And the idea of suicide or mental health, it kind of went out of the public view for a couple of years until a couple of weeks ago, the entire world was shocked by the death of Kate Spade. And many of you know that Kate Spade, she was a fashion designer, and she had a brand that sold um, handbags, jewelry, accessories, beauty products. That is so amazing. And she was very wealthy. She did very well. A great entrepreneur, a great businesswoman, and she was a model to so many people. And a couple of weeks ago, they found her hanging. She killed herself. Um, and once again, the whole idea of mental health came to the forefront of people's mind, because people were shocked, because you would think that if somebody was suffering, or physically suffering, or in lack, or didn't have any money, those would be the people that would be killing themselves. But here you have somebody who's successful and doing very well as a clothing line, a handbag line, jewelry line, and doing very well, multi-millionaire. Yet she was battling depression as well as mental issues, and she ended up killing herself. On the surface, it seemed as if she was having a perfect life, but then something happened, and she ended up killing herself, and it was quite tragic. And then a couple of days later, we heard of Anthony Bourdain, who was a TV personality, who was doing very well as well. Was one of the top chefs in the entire world. It's most celebrated, most famous. Seemed to be doing well. He had a TV program. He wrote many books, and yet he was battling with depression and the other mental disorders. And he killed himself as well. And it brought shockwaves to many people again, because people could not understand, how could someone be so successful, doing so well, and yet they committed suicide. And it reminds us that we should not judge a book by its cover. Someone on the outside may be looking happy. They seem to be doing well. From our perspective, have house and cars and all the money in the world, the fame, the popularity. They even bring laughter to people, being happy around people. But we don't know what's happening to people on the inside. So people may look good on the outside, but we don't know the challenges that they face on the inside. That is why we have to, make sure that we are kind to people, be nice to people. Just don't judge people into like their bad condition or their good condition. Let us treat people good. Let us uplift people, say encouraging words to them, and try to make a positive difference in their lives, because we never know what a person is going through on the inside. And you never know what a kind word or a word of encouragement can do to pull somebody back from the brink. Because this issue, this thing about mental issues and mental depression and psychological issues is very real. And it transcends all boundaries. The rich, the popular, those who are doing well face these situations, as well as those who are poor, and as well as those who are struggling. We heard of Kanye West, a very, very popular singer, entertainer, celebrity. He's married to Kim Kardashian. In his latest album, he revealed that he was, I think he said he had bipolar. He was bipolar. And we heard of also Mike Tyson. Years ago, he was diagnosed with being manic depressive. And after Kanye West came out talking about his being bipolar, it affected his behavior. Then a couple weeks later, we heard, I think about 10 days ago, where Mariah Carey came and said she was diagnosed with being bipolar as well. And she said she suffered with this condition for years, but she didn't let people know about it because she was concerned about the stigma. That is why sometimes when people are going through these situations, they don't tell anybody because of the stigma attached to it. And a stigma is when we look at a person a certain way, we judge them a certain way, and we start to treat them as a certain way because we think that they are different. And so because of the stigma attached to it, she kept it quiet, and it affected her behavior, conduct, her life. And so even though she was outwardly, she was functioning, she was doing concerts, she was singing, she was doing everything as a normal celebrity would do. Well, we did not know of the private battles and the struggles that she was going through. And it teaches us that you don't know what's going to happen in a person's life in their private moments. We meet our friends, our relatives, our loved ones, our children. They're happy, they're smiling, but we never know the private struggles that they go through. When a person is by themselves in their bedroom, when they undress, when they're by themselves, we don't know the conflict in their minds and the struggle in their minds and the difficulties in their mind. That is why we should be careful about judging people and make sure that we become a source of encouragement and love and uplifting people, because you'll never know what psychological condition caused them to behave a certain way. And even we heard of also in this time when people are talking about psychological help, we heard of Jada Pinkett Smith, that is Will Smith. Will Smith, but most of us know about Will Smith. He starred in many movies, Men in Black, very popular, and other movies. His wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, she said she's suffering from mental disorders, and she had to be seeing psychologists and getting professional help. And it's good when these celebrities can do that because they have the money. But what about people who can't afford a psychologist? They don't have a healthcare plan, or they don't know where to turn to. Sometimes people may want to go to speak to a pastor or a church member or somebody, but they don't know who to turn to, and they don't know who to trust. And sometimes people don't give them the right advice, and they don't have the professional support system around them. And so we have to be aware that people's behavior is not always because you're bad. People's behavior is not always because something they intend to be evil. In many cases, people have dysfunctional behavior because mentally something is happening up here. And we may think that they're ordinary and they're just being mean or stubborn or being arrogant. But sometimes it's because in their minds, under the pressures of life, they face these difficulties. And so Jada Pinkett Smith, as she was mentioning, she says, everybody looks normal, but we can see dysfunction come out when it comes to solving problems. And everybody may look normal, but we see dysfunction or emotional dysfunction when people face problems. When people face problems, those who are emotional dysfunctional, they don't approach problem solving well. And some people, when they're under pressure, they don't solve problems well. And we see the, I wish I could come to a better word, but the crazy comes out, or the dysfunction comes out under pressure, when the pressures of life comes on, or when they have to be solving problems. Not only that, we can also, we can see emotional challenges come out when it has to do with dealing with other people. If people didn't have pressure, or people didn't have problem solving skills, or they didn't have pressure, it would be very difficult for us to notice or to see deviant behavior or these things breaking out. But under pressure, dealing with other people, relationships, and trying to solve problems, these things can create a lot of challenges for many people, even even simple problem solving skills that we can handle, or pressure that we think that everybody can bear. Some people can't take the pressure. Some people can't handle people when people push them or they back them in a corner. Or some people can't handle when they have to be solving the problems of life, just regular problems of getting up and going to work. And so we have to also be careful how we relate to people. We have to make sure that we be sensitive to the faults of other people. And so it brings me to my topic today, that in essence, we are all a little bit broken. Nobody is perfect. And everybody at some point in their life, I was doing some studies, and they said everybody at some period of their life have faced difficulties, faced pressure, and we have faced mental and emotional trauma. If you look at my hand, if I could bring it close to you, I have a scar here. And this scar, you can see it, and I also have some scars on my knees. This scar came when I was 6 years old. My mother sent me to the country and to stay with some friends for the summer. And I remember I wasn't used to the hills. I was used to, I grew up in a fishing village. And the first time I went on the hill, it was so nice running down the hill. And as I'm running down the hill, I remember clearly everybody's telling me, Asa, slow down. But I was so excited, I'm running fast down the hill. And then as I'm running down the hill, as a young little boy, 6 years old, I tripped and I went down flying like this, and I scarred my hand. And you can see that scar. When I was about 20 years old, I was going somewhere, and I was in a car accident, and it damaged my pelvis. And so every now and then, under too much stress or strain, my this area becomes inflamed. So I had to get therapy, had to take care of my body, because every now and then there's a pain here from that accident years back. And so what I'm saying is that physically you could see this scar, but if I didn't tell you about this pelvic area here, pain, you wouldn't have known. And so what happened, in the same way people face physical scars, there are people that face mental and emotional scars. Some people were born a certain way in terms of their mental capacity. But there are people who have been through trauma as a little children. Maybe their parent wasn't there. Maybe they were separated from the parent. Maybe they were abused. Maybe they went through difficulties and they had somehow they developed emotional scars or mental or psychological scars. And you can see my physical scars, and you'll know that I'm not perfect because my body because of these scars. But at the same time, what happened is that when people have emotional scars, you can't see it. And this is what we should realize, that our lives are not just controlled by what we can do, but who we are as people. And when we meet somebody who may be looking perfect and beautiful and seem to be doing well, we assume that emotionally that this person is sound. But the truthfully is that everybody has some emotional scars. And we have to be patient with each other. We have to give people leeway and show people love and understanding and seek to understand their behavior, why they act the way they do. And not only that, is that in the midst of people's imperfection and in the midst of people's dysfunction, find a way in your way to bring healing. You may not be a psychologist, you may not be a therapist, but you can at least show somebody love and kindness and understanding in their imperfection. Truthfully, the beauty of life and the key to great relationships is learning to love imperfect people. That means you don't have to be perfect for me to love you. You don't have to have it all together for me to love you. And there are many people that they can only love people that seem to be perfect and that they're acceptable in their sight. But the key to real life is learning to love or care for people who are imperfect. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to be always calm. With your crazy self, I can love you. And if you learn to love imperfect people, you have done a great service to making this world a better place. So I'm going to challenge you to be more understanding to other people, show love to other people, and in your way, be a source of encouragement. Encourage others. Show them love. Tell them that their life can be better, because you never know. You never know what somebody has been through. And so I want to just read the lyrics of this song because this inspired my discussion today. And it was sung. It is sung by Fergie. You can always listen to it on YouTube. It says, "I got a lot of answers, and I'm looking for in these meds." He said, I got a lot of answers, but I'm looking for in these medications. She's finding answers in a medication. She said, about time I talk to somebody, shrink my head. A lot of promises, broken things that were said, and I can't get out of this bed. I got bruises on my heart, plenty scars on my mind, got blisters under the Band-Aid over my life. Gotta rip it open and show the world what's there. Lord knows I'm not perfect. When everything around me starts to fall, I rise up again to the call. And here's a chorus. It says, we're all just a little bit broken. We're all just a little bit hurt. We're all got wounds are open. We all can use a little work. Gotta wait first of the month to pick up that check. I'm talking about financial problem. He bounced and left. It was over, never came back. Now she's talking about broken relationship. Had a lot of questions about daddy after he left. Now it's just mama and them kids. And she said, I'll hold it down. Don't you worry, we'll find a way. No matter how, I'll make sure the bills get paid. She gave it all, and thank God their mouth was fed. She prayed the cycle would end. When everything around us started to fall, we rise up again to the call. We're all just a little bit broken. We're all just a little bit hurt. We all got wounds are open. We can all use a little work. Now here's the last verse. It says, sometimes when you feel like you need it, they send in the medic. but if it's your soul that's bleeding, that slow drip, the physical medic won't help it. It's time to get up to the front of the line. They cut to the battle and straight for the mind. There's nothing that's holding you down, stuck on the ground, far from the ground, because you are a warrior more than you know. The truth is, we're all just a little bit broken, and none of us are perfect. And one of my philosophies is do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. If you would like others to understand your imperfection, you would like others to be patient with you, you would like others to understand you. And one of my philosophies is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So let us be more understanding. Let us be more caring. Let us talk to people, hear their stories, because it is through their stories we can understand this thing. And if this world would be more understanding and people would be more caring and listening to each other, this would be a much, much better world. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being a part of this discussion. Let us consider those who are hurting on the inside. On the outside, they may look good, they may look perfect, they may look beautiful and nice, but you'll never know what is happening in the mind of somebody else. All right. So thank you so much for joining. Remember, I'm on Tuesdays at 9:30, Mondays at 9:30, Tuesdays at 12:30, and on Wednesdays in the evening. I'm going to ask you to share, tag, post, and tell someone about these broadcasts. And I hope it's a blessing to you. I hope it was helpful to you. And remember, life can be better, and your life is about to get better. Lastly, take care of your mind. Be happy. Do not allow the stress and the pressure of life to drag you down, to beat you up. In the midst of it all, find your happiness, find your peace, and live a good life by taking care of your mind. And don't allow the craziness, the drama, and the pressure to drag you down. Have a great day. God bless you. I love you. Bye.